Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing another video, and this time is going to be kind of controversial, I'm sure, amongst certain segments of people, but that's fine. Uh, what it is about is my curiosity having other unanswered questions. This time it's not about the virus. Uh, this time, hey, check this out. It says Matto Warrior, by the way. My Motorhead shirt. It's custom. They've sold these custom shirts for a while. Anyways, enough about that. Such a Gemini all over the place. Uh, so this whole thing that's been going on for a few years now. I mean, it's been going on probably maybe 5 years or more that I don't seem to get a grasp on or understand in the least because I just don't understand why the focus on Russia and how they're our enemy now, supposedly. Now, that doesn't mean I like Putin. Doesn't mean I don't think he tries to interfere with things. Of course, the United States has interfered in like 78 countries around the world, their elections over the past 50 years alone. Something like that, as far as I heard that statistic once. So does that excuse anything we've done? Just because. So that's the problem I have with the whole Russia thing. It's like, what is at stake? That's what I don't get. What is at stake? Because certainly the United States, you know, well, certainly we really care about human rights and the rights of the people, right? Yeah, sure. Of course we don't. So it certainly doesn't have to do with the Russian people as far as their rights, because we support China, or many politicians do, or other countries, Saudi Arabia. So what's this Russian thing? I'm curious about it. I don't know what the whole deal is. What happened? You know, and Putin is no saint. He's certainly, I would probably say he's probably a dictator and, pretty shitty authoritarian leader. I shouldn't have said he's no saint. That sounds like something Trump would say. I don't know. I just wanted to say it because I wanted to see, if I could say something like that. And he's no saint. Of course he's no saint. I think that's actually, I think I got that from Alex Jones said that once or something back in the day. Putin is no saint, but, even though he was against Putin early on, which is kind of funny. But I check out this channel, Recent R. Look it up on YouTube. He talks a lot about Alex Jones and how Alex Jones totally flipped on a lot of his things he used to be about. By the way, this is a side note. So I don't get it. Is it about resources? It's probably what it's about, right? Some, resources that we're vying over. Is it about territory? Is it about NATO? It's just, I just don't get it. And I've never gotten it because I don't understand how someone is all of a sudden our enemy again after they were our enemy, and then they were our frenemy, and then they were our enemy, and they were our friend, and then they're sort of friends. Now they're enemies again. It's just like the fucking United States. It's like the most like the United States is like the worst sorority girl, flip flopping valley girl, fucking sassy bitch. Like, my God, I'm not friends with you anymore. Oh my God, I just disown you as a friend. Stay away from me. Or they're like, oh, I love you so much. I can't wait to see you again. Nah. It's like, why the flip flop? What happened? What is it? Why? It's all these mainstream media things that talk about Russia. It's like, or Rachel Maddow or whatever. It's like, I don't see any context on why. Like, what does the U.S. have to gain by being enemies with Russia again? That's what I don't understand. So this thumbnail that I'm using for this video was actually created about 2 years ago as this video, but I decided not to do it. I don't remember. I mean, that was before I really decided, the last couple months, that I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos, of course, but I just had harbored these thoughts for quite a long time. They've really, stewed in my head for quite a while. So if anybody has any suggestions, why? I mean, even Obama talked about Mitt Romney, like in one of those debates in 2012, about how, you know, you got your foreign policy from the 80s or whatever, because he was, I guess, more friendly with Russia at the time. It's like Putin didn't really, did Putin change or something? As far as I know, he's always been the same way pretty much about his own, I mean, did something happen to him? I don't get it. You know, I don't fucking get it. And don't blame me for my geopolitical ignorance with regards to this subject. I'm not going to read 30 books to figure out why we're enemies with Russia again. I'm sorry. That's just, I don't have enough time to do that. I'm already reading 50 books about other things. So I don't get it. And, you know, a lot of the things with regards to Hillary and why people voted for Trump, there are certain libertarians and peaceniks, or as they call them, or, you know, people that were against war that voted for Trump over Hillary because he didn't want to go to, you know, he didn't want to antagonize Russia. Of course, you could say that Russia influenced the election, blah, 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 or whatever if you want, but it's just like, and the hypocrisy, you know? Just like I say, you know, just like what I said in my last video, or one of my last videos. I don't know if I'm going to put another video up before this one, because this one, actually, no, I will. Sorry, I fucked that one up. But I'm going to be putting up probably, this one is probably going to go up in August, and this is being filmed on July 22nd. So why we're all of a sudden enemies with Russia, I just don't get it. It's not all of a sudden, but in the context of, you know, the United States and foreign relations, it's like overnight. You know, maybe it's 10 years, but it's, to me, it's like overnight when you look at all the history. So I don't know why. You know, like I said, resources, geopolitical things. It's certainly not human rights, because the United States will support the average tin pot dictator, third world, you know, banana republic, which, you know, by the way, those are probably seen as racist terms now. And I kind of understand, you know, if someone says that's problematic, but, you know, any kind of fucking dictator, if we can get our hands on those resources or those markets of their maybe small middle class population they have, but, you know, ooh, if someone tries to get in our territory, we're like, we all of a sudden demonize them and villainize them as these evil terrorists or authoritarians or whatever. So that's why, you know, that's why I'm really cynical about the establishment media and the establishment liberals, so to speak. You know, that's why I, you know, supported Bernie Sanders, even though, got to be honest, I kind of take a lot of that back now because of all the stuff that he's done with, you know, kissing that Biden's ass. So I kind of was, people were right about him selling out in a lot of ways. So it's like, Russia is not, like, I guess they're just a superpower. They're getting in our way. I figured it all out. Ooh, revelation of today. Why not? You know, so I don't really get it. I just don't get it. I'm not paid by Russia, or, you know, I think I'm part Ukrainian, actually, as far as I know. That's where some of my ancestry comes from, and it's actually Ukrainian. It's actually something else too, that if I have any alt-right fans, they probably want to kill me now. It is something else in there. Oh, the enemy. Oh, I'm coming to get you and your money. Yeah, I do have a huge amount of Jewish ancestry, by the way. Yeah. In fact, like, my great grandfather was a Zionist socialist, believe it or not. Like, he joined these, like, clubs, not clubs, but like these organizations in Chicago, I believe. They're like these Zionist socialist, like, organizations back in like the 30s or some 40s or something like that. So it's pretty interesting, but I make no apologies about that. You know, I think I'll outwardly say what my ancestry is. And I thought it was Russian for a long time, but I guess it is Ukrainian. It might be some Russian in there. Anyways, off on another tangent. I'm gonna try to tighten this shit up in the future, by the way. So don't worry, I'm not gonna ramble on every time I do a video. But I know some people do like that too. But, you know, the Russian thing is just so fucking ridiculous. Like, because there's no context or, like, explanation. Just like a lot of the stuff I have questions about with the virus. It's like, why? What is this for? Why are we fighting, ostensibly fighting Russia now? What happened? What happened to Glasnost and Perestroika and all that shit? You know, fucking scorpions wouldn't have changed, you know? What happened? What fucking happened? I don't get it. Tell me what happened. I mean, I don't like Putin. I mean, he does Aikido with, or does martial arts with Steven Seagal, and Steven Seagal is certainly a piece of work, that's for sure nowadays. I used to love Steven Seagal, by the way. I liked a lot of his early movies, and I sometimes quoted his first two films, like, you know, we're gonna win, you know, we'll get him, buddy, and all this stuff. You know, I used to quote it. I used to get pumped up. I used to actually, this is really dorky, but I used to rewind a scene in Hard to Kill where he shoots that like that plant or what, or that pot or whatever. It's like, we're gonna win. And I'll tell you, I just used to get pumped up with like Steven Seagal lines and shit. Like, and actually, that actually has to do with like dating. Like, I was trying to date like back in the day again, and like get a girlfriend. I'm like, we're gonna win. And I'll tell you why. Superior attitude, superior state of mind. It's kind of funny, but it's ridiculous too. I mean, you know, there's little things like that. I'm going to talk about that in an upcoming video, by the way. I'm going to be doing a certain type of video about a certain type of thing. If you watch some of my other videos, you might be able to guess, but I will not give it away. And it'll be very interesting. That's going to come out in August as well. I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be doing that piece by piece and probably writing it all out, because I think it's about time I do a written video again, so I don't ramble as much. But by the way, the 5 questions about COVID-19 video was sort of written out, but not completely. So yeah, the Russia thing, I'm bothered by it, because it's like, why? You know, I just don't get it. And maybe I should like read some Chomsky about it, you know, or something, or someone else writing about it, because it's just like, hell, you know, it sounds bad, but even though I don't believe a lot of this stuff, but like James Corbett does a lot of good research, and he might have this weird conspiratorial slant on it, but he might also be able to, like, some of his sources that he uses, I could like look into that. Like, he might even have some videos about why we're enemies with Russia again or something, because he's a very good researcher. I don't agree with a lot of his conclusions. He's been wrong several times about the virus too, by the way. Not to say that he's wrong, but, you know, hey, you know, conspiracy theorists, but, you know, like, I think I've said this before, they live on, they are making money from fear, you know. I should do another video about that, I think, sometime too. Anyways, I'm rambling on. Why are we enemies with Russia? Tell me, leave a comment about why you think we're enemies with Russia again. I don't get it. I'm not saying we need to be, you know, befriend them completely and do their bidding or some shit. I'm just saying that I just don't understand. I don't have the comprehension of why we're enemies with Russia again, because I don't. There's something I'm not getting. You know, kind of like with any stuff. You know, with these political stuff. But anyways, I will see you later.